The Blue Man game decided to blue screen my PC. Very appropriate. Anyway, let's go ahead and do it. So, 3, 2, 1. One, two, three, four. We eliminate the small guys. So let us proceed faster. We do melee cancels. We blow up the orc ship. And now we run forward. Here we only need to eliminate one gunner orc. Then blow up this barrel and activate the turret. That might stop rockets if we are not so lucky. Anyways, just remember, at one point in the run, maybe sooner, maybe later, it goes all the way up to 11. And we're gonna get there. Trust me on that. So, right here, we go through this small cutscene, and we continue our movement through the battlefield. That's one title card. Here we receive a state in which our sprint is taken away, so we utilize the next best way to move, moving sideways. And we wait for the dialogue to finish. We continue dashing, we get to the bolter. One thing to note about melee dashing is that if you're close enough to an enemy when you melee dash into them, it will incur slow-mo. It's not so noticeable with the combat knife, since you can instantly cancel the melee dash with aiming or swapping in case of bolter. But when we get to melee weapons which have cooldowns on their dashes, we're gonna feel that. Especially if a dash gets cut in half by the slow-mo. Here we need to eliminate the gunners in a certain order. The top, the bottom, then the top. And now the boys are starting to drop for us. We need to get 4 of them. For some reason, if we stand close to our friend here, the Andros, you only need to eliminate 4 boys instead of 6, which you would have to do otherwise if you were closer to the exit from that arena. And this checkpoint reload was a part of the manip to make the spawns in the next part behave correctly, so to speak. Actually, this game is a little silly with the triggers, because you can skip some of them, even by just reinitiating sprint at the wrong spot. So we really need to walk certain parts to ensure everything functions correctly. Here we need to make quick work of the boys. This stack of barrels really helps us with it. And right now we're finishing off rations and wait in the cutscene trigger zone. And one more. Don't forget to do the ammo.
Vous nous avez sauvés.
Par ici, mes seigneurs. Allez au niveau supérieur.
Now we continue and we rush towards our next pickup after the bolter, which is gonna be Chainsword, which unfortunately is going to take away our ability to dash like that. But it's okay, there is much better movement awaiting us. We encounter our next friend, Sidonis, and now the whole team is together. Here we need to wait for the dialogue to finish and for the orcs to break the barricade. And we continue dashing. The next fight is gonna be the last big fight, or quite a bit. You'll see what I mean in just a little. Here we avoid squigs. Squigs are probably the scariest enemy in the entire game, especially with their placements, especially in sewers. Here again we utilize barrels to cleanly dispatch the gunners. And here is a small wave fight. And since there is nothing really important going on other than quickly dispatching enemies with the grenades, if there is anything to read right now, it would be a great spot.
Oh, I have so much for you. There's so much love pouring in. We have $50 from Gray, who says, "The Codex Astartes is a set of rules. They guide us, shape us as Ultramarines, teach us to place duty and honor above all. But how we live with those rules is the true test of a Space Marine. And you will succeed." Thank you so much, Gray. Lovely quote from the end of the game there.
Truly.
We have so many people jumping in here. It's hard to just select the best ones to read. I have $5 from Happy by 3, who says, "For the greater good." We have a Tau fan sneaking in here. We appreciate that so much. We have $10 from Bayern, who says, "Wart, wart, wart." I don't think that's 40K, but I appreciate the spirit. They can join the Tau. It's fine. It's good. We have $5 from Symphonic Dissonance with one of my favorite quotes of all times. "Orcs never lose. If we wins, we wins. If we die fighting, so that don't count. If we run away, we can always come back for another go, you see? Now let's go fight this Kensiger. Here we go, lads. Whoa!"
This was perfect timing, by the way, since we get our first mini-boss. We bait him into the wall and throw grenades. So right now we're waiting a little bit for the dialogue, just a little bit, and then it's a little bit more walking, and we get one of the core mechanics of this game, being the Fury meter. It gives us damage, it makes us stronger, faster, more efficient. And here we again utilize our walking sideways strategy and get to the cutscene with one of the greatest characters of this game, Lieutenant Mira. And we're gonna push her. She needs to open the door for us, and unfortunately she decided to be a little slow. At least we can protect her from our homies blocking the way. Okay, so we exit and we reload the checkpoint. So the thing about the checkpoints, any event that started before the checkpoint was activated is nullified by reloading the checkpoint. So any dialogue that incurs slowdown is removed by reloading the checkpoint. You can also skip cutscenes this way. And we continue moving through the battlefield. So far, this run is par for the course. Again, keep in mind that enemies that get in your way can cut your dash in half. And we're getting to the most important pickup. Okay. So what we've seen right now is called zipping. This is the main speedrun mechanic of this game. What I'm doing currently is I'm holding the bolter weapon slot while holding W and D to sprint sideways like that, and I spam Stalker Bolter weapon slot. This basically allows me to rapid teleport, and this also makes any upward slope a free ticket to out of bounds, which, yeah, let's say there's a reason any percent in the game is almost an hour faster than glitches. We can also hop over some ledges like that. Oh, speaking of free tickets to out of bounds, we're getting to the good stuff with the jetpack. This is the first jetpack section of the game, and it begins with a little bit of combat. So here, this area is fully sealed off, but we just get this guy in the tube. The spawn's actually bugged out a little bit. Usually there's supposed to be orcs dropping out of those pipes, but since I probably missed some trigger to activate them, we just do it like that. Now we wait at the door and we go onwards and upwards. And here we are on the way to our first jetpack out of bounds. Jetpack in this game is pretty silly, since there's a trigger in there in the cavern that takes jetpack away from us. But we fly out of bounds, we reload the checkpoint, and we're really not supposed to have the jetpack here. And you will observe the implications of it in just a second. Jetpack involves similar movement to what we utilize on the ground with melee dashing, but instead of aiming or swapping weapons, we cancel out meleeing with our jumps. There are small jumps and there are big jumps. It's determined by how long you hold your jump button for. And here we reload the checkpoint, and just like that, we skip the whole chapter that lasts about 9 minutes in just under a minute. And what I did here in the blue screen after the checkpoint, for the cutscene, is I held S. Basically, this checkpoint spawns you into the cutscene trigger and right in front of a low trigger. The cutscene then respawns you further away from the low trigger, while in the black screen you still have the ability to move. So by walking in the black screen, we get to the low trigger, and after the cutscene we don't need to go back and activate it, let's say manually, which would lose us around 10 seconds. Just a small neat optimization. Here we're on the train, we're already almost at the end of the first part of the run, which there are 5, and we simply avoid all the enemy triggers, and we go to our first boss fight. First of the 3. It's basically an auto-scroller. You just need to get the damage thresholds down for the ship that's about to arrive. The good thing about this plasma gun is that you can shoot it pretty much indefinitely without having to wait for cooldown. Because battle station, it gives you the ability to just spam the refresh reload button and just shoot like that. So it more than makes up for the ship going out of our field of view. Okay, here I'm getting out of the turret just for a little bit to not have the ship actually kill me right here. And we're done with part 1. It's a wild ride, but it's about to get fun. So what we do here is we do a little bit of a loadout swap. Basically, you ever heard of loadout swaps in Titanfall 2 speedrunning, where you reload the mission from the menu to get a different set of weapons? Basically, we do that here. And this allows us to basically fly. The difference between flying like that with Vengeance Launcher from our first zips with Stalker Bolter is that Stalker Bolter, when you're in the air, you get the stagger and you just cannot maintain the speed and effectively fly. While Vengeance Launcher allows to do just that. Oh, and we're up to the elevator, which means we're going to bounce. If you fall onto the moving platform from above, you get a lot of upwards velocity, which we utilize to get out of bounds again and reload the gigantic part of the map. Get to the trigger and reload the checkpoint. Here we skipped the gigantic part of the level with a lot of dialogue, finding out there's an Inquisitor here in the facility. Oh, let's see, finding out there's an Inquisitor in the facility and deciding we need to go after him. So here we need to activate the checkpoint, the correct one. So we're placed after this platform because otherwise we would have to wait for this platform to lower. And now we're doing the window pounce, which completely skips meeting the Inquisitor, skips watching the cutscene with him, along with a huge fight. And we continue zipping to our goal. The great thing about skipping meeting the Inquisitor is that he doesn't respawn here, and thus he doesn't incur us a dialogue that strips away our sprint. So we don't need to additionally reload the checkpoint. And right now we're waiting for the generator room to open. So it's a good downtime.
Fantastic, because I have a very special donation here. I have $25 from Ross Donaldson, who says, really surprised to see yet another game I got to work on at another GDQ event. Although I only got to work on the excellent multiplayer, it was a really fun game to see shape up during the QA process. Looking forward to seeing the single-player speedrun. Thank you so much for that, and the multiplayer was good, so I think you did your job.
Yeah. I think the servers actually is still active.
Yeah, I think they are, yeah. Do we have time for another one?
Yep.
Fantastic, because I have $20 from Bean Juice Girls here, who's really challenging me. They said, consider digging into some Gaunt's Ghost niche quotes, but since the boys train is going, hey, which orc captain wanted an Inquisitor's hat as part of the payment for fighting for her? If it helps, you got a quote of, extermination, eh? Can't say that would be good for me and my boys. As a cancer survivor myself, I love GDQ and everything this community does. Now, I'm not 100% on the name, but I do believe that is from Gazkul Thraka, Prophet of Dawa, and that I believe the captain's name was Biter, which was short for Bites the Face of the Face Biter. Correct me if I'm wrong in the Twitch chat, but that is my best guess at it.
By the way, there's this Orc Psyker that's supposed to spawn 2 shield boys into the arena, but due to us skipping Inquisitor, we're actually despawning them. There's still collision on them, but they're just invisible. The game is broken like that. It's beautiful. And now we go to the sewers part, which, despite the name, is actually pretty entertaining. So, since we did the elevator bounce back then and did the giant out of bounds, our friends right here, they respawn with us in the sewers. They're really not supposed to. We're supposed to meet them at the end, but here they are. And they help us get rid of those Gretchens, which is really required to go through the next fight fast. So right here, we need to be careful to spawn those 2 gunners. And eliminate those groups of orcs, which gives us a quick checkpoint. So we didn't have to fight the majority of them. And we're continuing zipping through the sewer. Excellent. There's another squig dropping behind us. As you can probably imagine, while playing casually, they're serving as sort of a jump scares in this section. Here we need to get the orcs to spawn from the pipes and the door. And we need to eliminate those groups. Oh, and you're probably thinking, since Zippin is basically rapid teleporting, what prevents us from zipping through solid doors like this one? Unfortunately, it's really difficult and effectively RNG to perfectly through the door. And here we again fly past the squigs, which are way too easy to die to in this section, especially granted you can get staggered out of zipping by the shield boy. Alright, here we continue to fly and enter the elevator. This elevator is a little silly, like most elevators, since you can just drop out of it. The thing about it, once I get the black screen, the fade out, I get teleported back, so it's just a silly small thing. And we get upgrade to our perimeter. And this upgrade will allow us to use more of slow-mo. By the way, there's a thing I utilized on the mini-boss in the sewers. While you're in the Fury mode, you can spam aiming with your Stalker Bolter, and you can spam shooting. And this allows you to get much faster fire rate, along with the increased damage from Fury mode. Here we again got a checkpoint from under the map, which skipped us reuniting with our squad. And here, unfortunately, there is no very consistent way to skip this dialogue, but we just fly onwards. So, it was sport. Orcs, bloody sport. And here's an illustration of a checkpoint reload, effectively keeping a cutscene before it even manages to start. This cutscene managed to catch me all the way into the barracks. Okay, so this is one big skip. We are getting around the area. We are getting into this corner. And we fly into this hole to load the next part. It's a huge sequence break. This game is filled to the brim with skips that have you load the area from completely different way from the way you're supposed to exit it, for example. Here we use this pile of rubble as a ramp to fly away and through the barricades, keeping a fight, keeping a cutscene with Inquisitor. You have no idea how much we skipped at this point. And here we are at the second jetpack section. And jetpack means out of bounds. That's probably why Raura Pantera didn't want her Chipinis to have jetpacks. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Too much power. So here we just navigate this weird area. And the route for this jetpack out of bounds and for the jetpack out of bounds at the very end of this game was created by Caballerier, a Finnish runner, who some of you may be familiar with, since he is the author of the infamous pinball skip in Sonic Frontiers, like the initial iteration. He was the person who discovered it. And he also did a fair bit of glitch hunting for the game, finding those out of bounds for the jetpack sections, and at first joking about zipping being meta. Look where we are now. Look where we are now, skipping half of the game with it. Okay, here we land into a precise sequence of triggers to load the area without engaging in any of the combat. Okay, let's go. Good trigger, and here we land here. And we're done with part 2, and we land on the Valkyrie. The upcoming section is an auto-scroller on the turret. Before you can take it away, for some more downtime, I got a warning. After this section, the game may crash. So if it happens, I'll just relaunch it, no worries. And
right, everybody, keep your praise to the power of the wah going still. We have so many people jumping on that wah train. We have $5 from Anonymous who says, "Wah, am I doing it right?" You know, they're confused, but they got the spirit. Thank you so much for that. We have $25 from Anonymous with a great reference. They have, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank. I don't care if it's canonical. That's the best 40k battle cry. Thank you so much, Anonymous. Big shout outs to that animation, if anybody has seen it. I love it very much. $50 from Totally Not a Dolphin that says, "Oi, let's paint the donations red to crump cancer even faster, boys." Ooh! Thank you. If you can figure out how to paint your donation red, you might freak out our tech, but it'll also be pretty funny. Time for a few more? All right, who didn't put their energy into the wah today? Oh, are we back? Hello? Unfortunately, chat, I am watching this with y'all, so I am in the same boat. Right, we've got to burn more incenses. In the meantime, we have more donations. We have a reply from Bean Just Girls for $5. This is Captain Blood Flag was the name. Twitch chat got it right. Oh, darn. I thought that it was a deep cut, and it was a cut in the other direction. I have not played the RTS games, unfortunately. They also say, if I could ask for one last favor in this run, it's not 40k, but could we get your take on Victor Saltzpire's line? I will do my best. Holy Sigma, bless this ravaged body. I hope that that was to your satisfaction. Give my love to the tech priests for getting this run delivered to the front lines, by the way. We are giving as much love to our tech priests as we can, as much as we can. So we're going to keep rolling. We're going to keep the good times going. We have $50 from Beep Beep Robot, who says, there is only the Emperor, and he is our shield and protector. Well, if the Emperor can give good vibes to our tech crew, as Twitch chat can, then we would love to have it. Folks, while we are trying to exercise some of these tech ghosts, we do have an update on that Crossroads incentive. So I challenged everybody last run, for those of you who are not here, to get to 50% of that incentive by the end of the run. We crushed that. And I would like to announce to y'all, we are crushing that even further. We are at 70% of the way there. We are at $2,114 out of 3,000. If my math is correct, which it isn't always, that is 886. Yes, $886 away from reaching that incentive. Chat, we have so much good energy going right now. We have so much blessings going to our tech priests in the back. I believe in us to be able to get there. And on the way, you can continue to challenge my Warhammer knowledge, which I very much welcome. Let's see, do we have more blessings from our lovely donors? We do. We have $25 from Corn on the Cob, Corn with a KH, that says, here's to the handful of absolute legends in the crowd right now. No idea who you are, but simply being there in person to support runners at odd times where you are makes you awesome. P.S. Brother Vermilion is the best Space Marine ever. Yeah, shoutouts to you guys. Good job holding it down at, what is it, 6:15 in the morning there right now? It's got to be cold in that room too. Folks, I am being told that we have exercised yet more space ghosts from our computers. We are ready to return to Space Marine with Failracer. Take it away, Failracer.
And we're back. We're going back to the game straight for the part after the autoscroller, since Since the forces of chaos really don't want us to finish the game. But we're strong, we'll persevere, and we'll finish the run. So here in the small combat section on the bridge, we zip through the bridge to trigger the Valkyrie to appear and eliminate all orcs. And right now we're gonna keep a whole bunch by just flying on the Meltagun. Meltagun has pretty much the same properties as the Vengeance Launcher when it comes to zip flying, so we're gonna utilize it. So here we get on top of this pipe and we fly out of bounds right away. We need to get through this arc to get the location to load. Interesting. Okay. Well, let me give it another shot. But the location is gonna load only partially. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do it like this, since this escape is scary in particular because there is a checkpoint you get above the void, which if you trigger it, then fail the skip, you will respawn over the void continuously, and you will continuously fall through the location. Okay, I'm getting downwards weirdly, even though everything loads. Okay, let's go get to... Maybe I get to salvage it. Yep, let's go. I salvaged the reload. And we're on to another huge skill check in this run, being the laboratory. We really need to respect the triggers over here, especially the triggers in the pipes, since if we don't get them, we might end up soft-locking the game. For example, a room at the end of the laboratory is not gonna open. And here we go. This is pretty much movement section and an exercise in evading rockets. Okay, so first turret room, didn't even feel it. Second room is a little bit scary. Oh, actually this is the third room. The turrets are way more aggressive here and you can get staggered by the rocket. In this room, you really need to get to the door before an invisible wall spawns in front of it. And thus we skip a whole bunch of dialogue. And right now I'm gonna try and set up a skip. Oh, I see. Sometimes when zipping, this game is a little dangerous in terms of that. Sometimes when zipping you can just end up stuck in the collision. And just like I ended up being stuck in this platform. But good news, we're on the edge of this window and we can fly out. Fly out, activating the checkpoint and skipping a whole bunch of dialogue. We fly and fly and fly to the end of the laboratory segment. The end being probably the scariest part, since it contains a skip on the timer. And again, This game can be silly. One must not be reckless with their speed. Here we reload the checkpoint to respawn our squad with us. And I'll try to get through the door if the game allows me. But if not, it's still fine. We're still doing the thing. Basically what we're gonna do now is get into the elevator before it loads around us. Is there an elevator? Let's see. There's an elevator that loads around the character when you get to it, and we just need to get there fast enough and maintain our height. It skips a fight with the orcs, and it's probably one of the more difficult skips in the game, only topped by the very next one. Well, the next one will be helpful in explaining the catch for this one, which... Let me get into the elevator. Unfortunate. I'll give it one more try. And while I'm trying, there is some time. Some sweet downtime to utilize.
Absolutely. We have still so much love pouring in. $70 from Scalio, who says, orcs and fighting cancer, a perfect combo. Whoa! Thank you so much. I never get tired of it. It's so much fun. We also have $250 from Eli, who says, cancer has taken too many of my friends and family. AGDQ is an amazing event for an amazing cause. Rest well, brothers and sisters, only in death does duty end. And then they have a quote here that is, I am strong, born only to slay for the Emperor and the Imperium. I am pure, wearing the blackest of the black, trained to serve as a spiritual guide as well as war leader. I am wrath incarnate, living only to kill until finally killed. I am a weapon in the eternal crusade to forge humanity's mastership of the stars. I believe that's a chaplain line, but I don't know if that's specifically a Death Company chaplain. Chat would have to correct me on that one. Time for any more?
I think I need to explain one small thing before we can do some more, which is
Fantastic.
the catch for the skip I just did. The catch being, I just softlock myself. And to explain the softlock, when I'm gonna ride the elevator below back there, the door will be closed. But we're gonna play around this with the hardest skip in the entire game. And for now, while we observe some weapons of mass destruction totally not powered by chaos firing, there is a little more time.
You bet. We have $10 from Anonymous, chiming in on our tech issues a little bit, I think, saying, I crave the strength and certainty of PCF. Thank you so much for reinforcing that strength. We also have $30 from Octo, who says, Earthcast R&D greets you on behalf of the greater good. We don't hear too many war cries from where we engage from, but those of the Farsight Enclave report hearing wah often. Thank you so much. That's a good cut. It's not too deep a cut, perfect level.
And here we are to the most difficult skip in the entire game. It actually does not save that much time, but it enables the skip I did at the end of the lab, because it allows us to play around the soft block. Let's see. Basically, what I need to do is I need to activate the elevator first. I need to get out before it starts, And we go here. Here is our setup place for going out of bounds. We get onto the barrel. I say we get onto the barrel. Okay, and this barrel allows us to fly all the way over here to the out of bounds. We fly around the whole area, unfortunately getting downwarped in the process. That allows us to trigger the elevator to move by teleporting our squad inside it while we're out of bounds. And that allows us to drop down on our own and completely evade the softball. But as you can probably see, the difficulty comes from maintaining the height with those zips. And here we are. We skipped this elevator ride and we need to reach this checkpoint to regain our sprint. Here we load an area and we need to eliminate all the blood letters. Oh, you may be confused by all the demons over here. It's just so happened that we brought a new invasion upon the world of Gaia while trying to fight off the orcs. The Inquisitor that is still fighting alongside us because we did not deload a certain area ended up being a puppet for a demon host, and he allowed Nemerov to open the warp portal onto the Gaia and try and claim the power source. So we're gonna try and stop him, as well as stop the orcs. This is the part of the game where there's both orcs and forces of chaos fighting in the streets, but we skip past all of them. Meanwhile, our good friend and squad mate Leandros tries to accuse us of being a heretic, but we skip the cutscene where that happens. We just flew over the trigger. We do not need to hear his opinion. Okay, so what we do here is we fly out of bounds, try not to lose too much height. Again, we're gonna have to skip the cutscene once more. It's okay. Oh, this game's spectacular. We need to touch load trigger. I'll pick a safety checkpoint over here for going out of bounds. And we need to pick the checkpoint from under the map, which the game seemingly refuses to give us. Interesting. Probably not enough height under the map. The checkpoints in this game are actually pretty funky, since sometimes they take ages to trigger if you're not in a proper state while in their activation area. Sometimes you can fly circles under the map before you can get one to work. Here we load the trigger, load the elevator, and drop down. Reload the checkpoint to remove some dialogue, and continue flying. Here we pick up the last cannon. Last cannon, it's not useful for zipping, but it's a surprise tool for the boss of this chapter. Yeah, we're gonna fight the war boss Green Skull right now in just a few seconds. We just need to get out of bounds. Oh, interesting.
Lieutenant, où est le générateur?
It's okay. We do unconventional way, we do unconventional way for this out of bounds. And we load the boss arena from the other way around again. And here we're at the boss patch. The last cannon and the melter gun being secret tools, secret thought for it. The thing I'm doing is basically hot swapping. While you fire one gun, the other recharges, so you can maintain incredibly high DPS while doing so. And every time boss Grimskull changes his phase, we reload the checkpoint to avoid long animations of running around the arena, to avoid us getting flashbanged by him. And we proceed to the next chapter. You know, another fun thing about this game is that double tapping pause actually cancels out any fade out. And this causes some silly stuff. For example, this. The location just gets to walk. And we continue flying. Another thing that's scary is those doors, because, well, zipping you can get stuck in the door frame. So gotta be careful getting all the triggers. Speaking of which, I need the trigger for opening that door. Okay, now it works. And we're gonna get introduced to a new enemy type that we're totally not gonna skip completely. Okay, on this door, more movement. The new enemy type being the Chaos Psyker. We already had Orc Psykers, which we barely interacted with, and then we're gonna have the Chaos Psykers, which gonna receive almost the same treatment. So here we fly to the door before the Psyker owns an invisible wall in front of it. We can just walk past. Load the area and go on top of this corridor. We actually need to drop into this corridor and utilize the thing about Bolter, which is actually the same with Stalker Bolter, the fact that you can reinitiate sprint while in the air, and doing so lets you reset your fall speed. So we get introduced to the new enemy type, Chaos Champion, who is gonna receive the one-two punch treatment. And I'm gonna attempt a seal skip, which completely bypasses this area, if done correctly. Basically, you need to gain enough height from those concrete stacks, and you can fly into the elevator area. But I think we're gonna just do the fight the conventional way right now, utilizing melter gun with our Fury mode, and utilizing the last gun with slow-mo to dispatch the Chaos Marines. And hopefully we do not get the soft block which can happen on this fight. The softlock is probably an overmeasurement since it is fixed by going into that area. Basically, what happens is that some bloodletters can spawn under the map, and thus you cannot finish the fight unless you go for despawning them. We again utilize bounces by zipping over this chain on the lift, and we skip a dialogue that removes their spring and keep the entire elevator ride. Here we're gonna get introduced to another enemy type from the Chaos faction, the Blow Drone, and we're gonna give it the same 1-2 punch seal treatment by shooting the propellers with the last cannon. And here is the final elevator of this chapter. We're gonna get to the Titan. We supposedly need to ride said Titan, but you know, you can skip a lot in this game. We get on top of this ramp. We go out of bounds. And we reinitiate the spring to get the slow trigger, to skip a whole bunch of downtime, a whole bunch of dialogue, one smooth fight, and get straight to the final fight of this chapter. We actually need to tap pause to cancel out black screen, and here is the final fight of this chapter, which is gonna conclude part 4, and it's gonna be right to the finish from there on. By the way, this silly gun left by the developers for us completely trivializes this fight. And both myself and some other people I spoke to who played this game, they had no idea this gun was even there. Actual speedrunners, not knowing something that speeds up the fight so hard, is right before your eyes. Right now we have a little bit of time to replenish some ammo and get to see the cutscene overlap. Instead of Titus and Leandros mourning their fallen brother Sidonis, who was killed by Nemiroth just a little bit ago, we're gonna watch a silly cutscene. And right now is a little bit downtime before I go full ham on this beautiful game.
I will also say casually, right before you get on the Titan, the game does something really mean where it gives you a Storm Bolter, which is a great close range weapon, and then throws a ton of snipers at you. It's so mean.
It literally throws you at you two Chaos Psychers,
Yes.
which both they do throw your aim off, as well as the Titan itself shaking. It's incredible. That's why I just stick to my last gun for that part. And
we have
we
time for
Yeah.
one donation.
I'm just flying at this point.
Yeah, fantastic. We have $10 from Rinks, who says, Failracer is definitely making the Emperor proud. This run has been extremely fun, even for someone who only enjoys listening to people nerd about Warhammer. Pride, you're doing such an excellent job at hosting, and the voices, I love them. Thank you. Shout out to my amazing partner, Code Green. And finally, Oi, let's give Kensa a proper crumpin'. Whoa! Thank you so much. We appreciate it so very much. Time for one more quick one?
There's one small thing that needs explaining. Basically, this is a bridge skip, a very huge skip that is more or less a single attempt. And what we need to do is we need to spawn 2 Chaos Psychers, eliminate them, and we're gonna wait for the barrier to despawn. And we're gonna fly to the end of the bridge as quickly as possible. So, what it accomplishes? It hopefully skips most of the spawns that are happening in this part of the bridge. Yep. We just needed to eliminate 1 Chaos Marine, 1 Chaos Guardsman, however you may put it, and we have our Thunderhawk straight from the dawn of war fly to pick us up for the last jetpack section of the game. The last jetpack section of the game means the last big out of bounds. So, first and first, we get onto the pillar. Oh, it's not enough height. It's not enough height. So the game really expects us to go around the arena, spawn a Chaos Psyker, eliminate him, but you can just go around the wall if you get enough height. And now the road to out of bounds. Okay, here we go, and we're basically out. And since we are keeping the jetpack till the end of the game, yes, Titus is gonna be wearing it in the final QTE of all places. We're gonna see it in the final cutscene. I swear it looks so goofy every time. Almost as goofy as that one edit where Titus says I'm not a heretic while wearing full-blown chaos armor. And you can do bounces with the jetpack as well, since you can get on this rail and then in the elevator. And we are gonna do it again. Let me set up for it. Okay. We're gonna need to wait for the invisible ceiling to despawn. Oh, okay. Unfortunately, I seem to not have set up the bounce properly, but it is only a marginal time save over doing it like that. Here we need only to spawn Nemo thing, get the objective to get to him, and there's some trigger on this floor for some reason. And now the final fight starts. So, final fight is kind of notoriously annoying with this bubble that shields all the enemies from you. Well, with the jetpack you completely ignore the bubble and you just spawn kill everyone. So for this fight we utilize our Fury and wait for the dialogue. Have you looked at the sky recently, Captain Titus? The real nature of power, and more bloodletters spawn. We eliminate them, and we wait a little bit since we need to eliminate another group of bloodletters. Bam! And okay, they should all be done. Now we deal with the Chaos Psychers. Hopefully I'll have full Fury mode for the Chaos Champions, which... Oh, it seems like someone got away. It's okay though. And finally, 2 Chaos Champions. which we just stomped to death along with the bloodletters. And here we start building our fury meter for the final QT. Basically, the final boss, yes, is a QT. You fill up your fury meter, you use the execution, which we're basically using for the first time in the run. There are some mechanics that we're completely avoid making use of. And we start the final PT. And basically this is just waiting for the game to finish. So yeah, I'm all ears. I'm ready. Okay, we just damage him a little more, getting a little more hits in. Now it's faster just to tank hits, or not getting slow-mo from dodging. And the last one. So we're entering the final QTE phase of this boss fight, and the time is coming up. And time. This was Warhammer 40k Space Marine. A beautiful video game, great speedrun, product of its time, a predecessor to the recently released Space Marine 2, which people seem to adore. Yeah.
Good job sticking with it even through all of our space ghosts in our tech. And thank you to our local tech priests in Pittsburgh for lighting the blessed oils and chasing those away long enough to see this wonderful run. Thank you so much, Failracer.
I'm incredibly glad to be able to showcase this run, since it's pretty much a hidden gem of a game with all the unique mechanics, all the ways you can break the game. I've been the only runner of this game for a year or so at this point. I believe I started learning this game summer 2023, and since then I've pushed it to sub-hour time, and it can go further below. It's at 56 minutes. My currently not submitted PB, and it can go even lower. And if there is time left, I would like to give a few shout-outs.
I believe we would like to make it quick because we are trying to make up for some of those space ghosts.
Surely. Apologies, I could not have foreseen this happening.
No, you were all good.
Anyways, first off, I would like to give shout-outs to Pilonot. It's the person who got me into this game. I saw their run on 2022 marathon, and I became really interested. He also helped me learn, and he also helped discover certain skips that eventually led to the game being what it is today. He also unleashed the full power of zipping. So he made the flight viable, he made a whole bunch of skips with it, and in general, he's been a great inspiration for me. And another shout out I would like to make is Will Treaty. He's been an invaluable support to me. Emotional, everything. He made an ASL for this game. This game used to not have an auto splitter, not have a load remover. He made all of those. He helped with testing. The only thing this game waits for is a leaderboard reform, as well as you've probably gathered from certain reactions of mine during this run, certain confusion, that basically all of the research done for this game is done empirically. So mess around and find out method. The community would really be glad to have someone to mine this game proper. Thank you, and I'm signing off.